Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and welcome to the show, y'all. Check this out, y'all. Just like I promised. 1 hour later, here we go, y'all. Here we go. Now, Tim, he's doing everything that his father was doing, right? And he's still going to visit his father because he hasn't been convicted of a felony, so he can go to the penitentiary and visit his father. Now, he's going on a regular basis because his father, this person that had been looked up to in the streets as somebody that should be respected, has now switched from being the person that was trying to discourage his son from doing the things that he was doing to advising his son as to how to do it. Why? Because he made the same mistake that I made. And a lot of other fathers that are in the penitentiary make. We make the mistake of thinking that if we tell our sons, if we tell our loved ones how to do it, the best way to do it, that that'll keep them out of trouble, that'll keep them out of the penitentiary. No, it will not. It's not going to happen, y'all. It ain't no right way to do wrong. Get that in your head. Think about it. Anybody that you can think of that's in the streets, all of their stories, all of our stories end the same way. In and out of jail or prison, testifying against a friend or family member, shot up in the hospital, right? Or being in the penitentiary till you old and gray, or going to death on the electric chair. All of these stories don't end good, y'all. This ain't Hollywood. And even when you think about Hollywood, when you see how they portray people that are in the streets and stuff like that, they end up dead or riding off a cliff in a car and stuff like that. Ain't nobody trying to go out like that. Keep it real, y'all. This lifestyle, the stories don't end good, man. This ain't Hollywood, man. Everybody don't break away. But you should. Stop what you're doing, because it's about to ruin the life that you might have could have had. I'm trying to tell you. But wait a minute. Tim, he's up there. Now he's thinking that him and his father got a real good, close relationship, because now his father's not trying to discourage him. His father's giving him advice. So he's thinking that me and my father bonded. See, because let me tell you something. When you're looking for love, your brain is looking for this validation. That's what Tim was looking for. And Rick, instead of staying firm and loving on him in the right way as a father, saying, son, no, learn from me, he started to flip and switch. And Tim interpreted that as love. My father's looking out for me. He's telling me what I should and shouldn't be doing. He's telling them how he used to hide up under porches and waiting on people to come home. He's telling them how he used to pull up on people in the crap game and make them all lay down face down. Make sure you can keep your eyes on their hands. Don't let their hands be up under them. He's telling them all the little tricks of the game that robbers share. All he's doing is pouring poison into him. It's like he's got a jug full of poison and his son's got his mouth wide open and he's feeding it to him, pouring it down his throat. You ever seen a bird, a mama bird or a papa bird, when they fly back to the nest and they got the worms, or if it's an eagle, right? And you got the eaglets in the nest, they fly back, they got the big old fish, right? They got it in their mouth. They drop it right there in the nest, or they put it right in the mouth, in the beak of the baby, right? That's what he was doing. That's what Rick was doing to Tim. He's feeding him something that Tim think is nourishing him, but it's actually killing him. Why is it killing him? Because it's making him hard. His heart is hardening. You see, that's what the game does to you. See, while you're learning the game, you're dying. That part of you that recognizes the humanity in other people, that part of you that see another person and want to respect that person and think highly of that person, or or family member or parent, when you see them, you want to honor them and not disgrace them. See, that part that wants to do the right thing by people starts to die away when you start to drink the water of the poison. You see what I'm saying? And Tim was more than willing to drink it because in his mind, he thought that this was making him and his father closer. What he didn't understand is that his father had given himself over to that. And his father was corrupt from inside out. He was telling his son when his son was smaller, don't do this, don't do that, because he assumed, like a lot of people in here, I'm supposed to say that. I'm supposed to say that, but he didn't mean it. He didn't mean it. Because if he meant it, he would have kept doing it. He'd have kept doing it, but he didn't mean it. He didn't mean it. Now, it wasn't that he made a bad decision in trying to tell his son the tricks of the game. See, I made a bad decision because I wanted Boo and Montrez to love me. And I didn't know how to break free from the shame of what I had done and be their father because I didn't think that they would accept what I had to say. My mind was playing tricks on me, or either I was playing tricks on myself, one of the two. So that shame prevented me from doing the right thing and saying the right things. Now, Rick, on the other hand, this is not about shame. This is about narcissism. Rick didn't give a damn about Tim. Not one inkling about Tim. This is what Tim telling me himself. And as this story goes, you're going to understand why. So now Tim is coming up on 19 years old, y'all. And his dad is telling him, look, it's some dudes out there that's got some real bread. You need to get them. Quit all of this pulling up on these dudes and getting a few $1,000s. You need to get some real figures up under you. And then you need to make them understand and respect it so that when they see you coming, they'll just leave it and go. See, his son became his conduit. You understand what I mean when I say that? He was living through his son. He was getting off on this. He was living through his son. And that was allowing a lot of things to go his way in the penitentiary because the streets was talking. And everybody in the penitentiary is in tune with the streets. So when the streets are talking about whomever and whatever and for what reason, that translates into the penitentiary. So Rick's son is following in his footsteps. He's a real dangerous person. So in the penitentiary, a lot of people, when they see Rick coming, they understand his reputation. But see, let me tell you something, Rick done got older. So he needs his reputation to continue to make him see or be this 10-foot tall individual. So now with the help unknowingly of his son and what he's doing in the street, it made Rick look even taller in the penitentiary. Understand what I'm trying to tell you? He's living through his son. He's living off the reputation of his son. He's no longer living off of his reputation alone. He's living off of the reputation of his son, meaning they are a dangerous family. They don't play like father, like son. You understand? Like father, like son. So here we go. Tim finds himself in a situation where it's time to get some real money. His father done put him up on a couple of people, and it's about to go down. And he's not playing. So he finds a couple of dudes. He's following them. He's following them for days, trying to see what's going to happen. And when he gets them, he gets them one at a time the same night. And he wasn't playing with them. And see, Tim wasn't going to make the same mistakes that his daddy made. Because see, his daddy, he wasn't quick to pull the trigger. He pulled the trigger when he had to. You feel me? Because if dude don't miss when he shot at Rick and then bullets hit the car, Rick is done. He just missed. So Tim, understanding that story, he said, when I go and I tell him to lay down, I'm going to make him lay down because I'm going to pop him. He ain't kill him. He put 2 people down in one night. Shot him in the leg. Get out, man. Where the money at? They played stuff for a while. Boom, boom, pistol whooper. Where the money at? He made them crawl to the money. One of them crawled up on the porch, rang the doorbell. When this gal come to the door, he's laying on the porch, blood coming up out of him. Tim standing there looking, get him in the house. Where the money at? She's scared. They got a child in the back asleep. She goes and gets the money and gives it to him. He leaves. Listen to what I'm trying to tell you now. The arrogance of it. He ain't got his face covered up or nothing. He done shot 2 people in one night. The one thing he didn't learn from his father's story was this. Street rules, man, you could talk about that all day. This is not Hollywood. You could talk about that all day. This stuff is not written in blood, like they say. You can talk about that all day. Why do I say that? Because even the people in the streets, if they get scared enough of you, guess what they're going to do? They're going to do this like the law-abiding citizen. 911, sir, I have been robbed. We're on the way, sir. What's the address? And they'll be there. And they're going to take the statement. Now, of course, they're not going to tell them that they stole, that the person came there and stole all their drug money. They're not going to tell them that. They're not going to tell them. They're going to tell them whatever they got to tell them to make it seem like it's all legit. They're not finna tell them folks they've been selling dope, even though they know they've been selling dope. Police don't care nothing about that. What they care about is, can we get another dangerous person off the streets? And if we got to use a lying drug dealer to do it, then so be it. If that person is willing to raise his hand and come up in that courtroom and swear up on the Bible that he's telling the truth, then they're going to roll with it. Now, they're not supposed to do that, because if they believe that he's lying, they're not even supposed to put the person on the stand. But they're not going to do that. They're going to say, are you telling me the truth? And the person is going to say, yes, sir, I am telling you the truth. He came up in the house and robbed me. I had $600 or $1,000 or $5,000, whatever the case may be, came up in the house and robbed me, and now I'm bringing charges. And can you point that person out in the courtroom? They're going to point right over at the defendant's table. There he is right there. And then he going to be sitting there looking down at the table, don't want to look up. He might look up trying to stump, you understand, for the people that might be behind it, because he really think he's going to beat the case and go home. So he's got to put on for the streets. But that ain't what's going to happen. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. So don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. So that's what happened. When they called the police, they came and got it. He made bond and got out though, right? Made bond and got out. But when he got out, guess what he did? He got on down. He been getting money. He got on down. Now he's on the run. He got 2 attempted murder charges, but he's out on bond, and he runs. This ain't going to end good. This is not going to end good, y'all. But I'm going to tell you something that happened. You remember his dad, right, Rick? You remember his daddy? Let me show you how sour he is. See, when a person goes on run, especially somebody that's violent, right, what do the police usually do? What they usually do? They usually put out a reward, right? Don't they? They put a reward out for you. Whatever it is, they put that slave bounty on your head. And guess what? It's on the news. We get TVs in the penitentiary, y'all. We get to see the penitentiary. So when Rick is looking at the news, he sees his son on TV and they're offering a reward for him. Guess what he starts thinking? This is my ticket up out the penitentiary. Listen to what I just said to you. He said about his own son, this is my ticket out the penitentiary. Now think about that. What does he mean by that? What does he mean by that, y'all? This is my ticket out of the penitentiary. I'll tell you what, though. I'm going to let you know what he means by that in the next episode. And don't get mad at me, because the next episode is going to be tomorrow. So you're going to have to listen to that. You feel me? You're going to have to listen to it tomorrow. But before I do go, and I'm telling you, don't get mad at me, y'all. Don't get mad at me. Let you know about my book. Go check that thing out, Rivals. You know what I'm saying? Hit the link. You'll see it down there below, up under the episodes, in the description box. And the movie's coming out. I'm telling you, I keep telling y'all about the movie. I can't wait to show you the trailer so that y'all gonna be, you know what I'm saying, hype about going to the membership page and watching this movie. I'm telling you now, it's gonna be one of those things, right? We're making history. Doing Time Productions is on the way, y'all. You hear what I'm trying to tell you? You hear what I'm trying to tell you? But look, check out this next episode, because I'm finna tell you how gritty and grimy Rick really is, right? Don't forget what he said when he saw his son on TV for a reward, he said, this is my ticket out the penitentiary. Check me out. This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all.